Are you 65 years or older? Good news. Illinois has expanded its Medicaid health insurance program to everyone 65 and older, regardless of your immigration status. Need help to apply? Contact United African Organization, UAO, WhatsApp, SMS, IL65 to 773-420-8976. It's true. For most people, your health insurance program increases as you grow older. That's why the state of Illinois has expanded its Medicaid health insurance program to everyone 65 and older, regardless of your immigration status. Need help to apply? Contact United African Organization, UAO, WhatsApp, SMS IL65 to 773-420-8976. If you are 65 years and older, there's one thing we can all agree on. Your health and well-being is important. Whether you are a recent green card holder or retiree, asylee or without paper, you're now eligible for the Illinois Medicaid Health Insurance Program. Need help to apply? Contact United African Organization, WhatsApp, SMS IL65 to 773-420-8976. Documents needed to apply: your proof of ID, your proof of address, and your proof of income.
Just one more pic, JJ, please.
Oh, Mama, really?
Smile. It's not every day my eldest son graduates.
I couldn't have done it without you.
All without Auntie Jane's generous support.
Here is to Auntie Jane's well-appreciated World Remit money transfers.
World Remit Corporation is licensed as a money transmitter by the New York State Department of Financial Services, as a foreign transmittal agency by the Massachusetts Division of Banks, number FT1179663, and licensed by the Georgia Department of Banking and Finance, NMLS 1179663, Massachusetts Foreign Transmittal License, FT1179663.
World Remit, a better way to send money. Download the app or visit worldremit.com.
All right, sorry about that. Thanks, Dr. Edward Ofori, for checking my sound for me. Great here. I have my two NPP folks who are actually punctual today. First to show up, and I'm so grateful. Mr. Daniel Yao Aponsa hasn't been with us for a very long time. Welcome, Aponsa. How are you today?
Oh, I'm good. I'm with you, Alfred. How's everything?
Good to actually have you back on the show. I'm also joined today by Kojo DC, who is the General Secretary, is he? Organizing Secretary of the DC chapter of MPP. Welcome to the show, Kojo.
I think you have to remember this one. I'm the chapter organizer of the Washington DC.
Oh, chapter organizer. So it's not organizing secretary, it's organizer.
Organizers, no secretary. Secretary, we have our secretary, and you know how ranks are made. Chairman, secretary, the organizer comes in. So I'm
correct. All right. Thank you.
Daniel, how are you?
Hey.
I'm not here.
Yes, a lot going
Daniel,
on my side.
You two know each other, right?
Oh, yes. We are on the DC area, right? You are in Frederick, so one day we'll have to meet.
One day we have to meet. We have to meet and, get some barbecue going on, do something nice, All right. All right, guys, welcome to the show. So I was just introducing the show, and I was saying that on June 28th, as we are all aware, Pressure Group Call, Arise Ghana launched a 2-day street demonstration or protest to express their anger over the worsening domestic economic conditions in the country. They specifically reference the increasing inflation and the recent imposition of e-levy. And it appears the government is hearing them or indicated that they've heard them loud and clear. I think a day after this thing started or so, we saw a letter or a memo from the Ministry of Information indicating that the president has given authorization to the Minister of Finance to approach the IMF and start discussing options available to Ghana for a balance of payment support. So we would tackle the two issues today. I'm sure the president is not only reacting to the demonstration, but that this has been in the making for a very long time. All right, so guys, since we haven't had you in a long time, Mr. Amposan, anything new that you want to share with us before we jump into the details of the conversation? But that is the background of the two things we want to talk about today.
Amuji, thank you for having me again. Yeah, I know I was on some Templar time and then I had to chicken out because of some other equally important engagements elsewhere. But hopefully it's all done at least. I mean, on the interim, it's all done, but it's all part of personal development. I take personal development very seriously.
Right.
So, yeah, but I think it was in the right direction. It was in change, but it's worked out. Yeah, and I think that folks have held the fort very well. I mean, I've been following, just that I haven't been able to contribute live, but I've been following the program, and I think your panelists have done very well. Keeping the engagement going, the debate, the passion, the emotions.
Yeah. Well,
So
yeah.
I've enjoyed them from afar, even though I haven't had my turn to chip in most of the time. But I think both on the page and outside of the page, I'll say they've done a good job. I mean, and congratulations to all of them. Hopefully they will join us soon and then we can take it from there. But Amuzi, thanks for providing the platform. We are always here to share our ideas and engage.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for those introductory words. Let's also hear from Kujo DC, who has been very faithful and very regular with us, and we can be more appreciative. Kujo, what's going on today? Any new or anything you want to share with us before we start?
Oh no, that's not much. NDC is always late. They can't govern. That's why they're even late, or even on your platform. So
I know, right?
Well, that's what I would say. They're always late. You see, the incompetency is always showing up in every endeavor of what they take, and they're supposed to be here. They should have been here earlier on. We are in government. They say we are running from whatever we're doing, but we are here to face the heat. No matter how it goes, we still know we are the competent one. So that's
right.
By the way, always like you are punctual. So I'm hoping you join the proper party like ours and stop supporting these people. They are not even coming.
All right, I see you're ready for the show today. All right.
Thank you.
So on that note, let's start a conversation even as we wait for them to join. So guys, let's talk about the economic issues first, right? So we know that the MPP has made a lot of noise about going to IMF. And some of the reasons that we go to IMF are actually structural. In other words, these are things that are going to be with us or have been with us for a while. In other words, we spend more than we actually generate in revenue. So until we fix our revenue generation, until we change how we run our economy, that issue of we needing support at some point will continue to emerge. And so rightfully so, the MPP had made so much noise about that. that it's not prudent to always take the country to the IMF. But the times would come where, of course, regardless of who is in government, because of the structure of our economy, you're gonna need some support. Even though the amount may not be significant, it may be a signaling effect to the market that they can have confidence in your policies. You have somebody sort of supervising or looking at your fiscals, how you spend, how you generate, that there's no waste in the system. So whenever we go to the IMF, we do have sort of that relationship where the IMF is looking, and that gives confidence to investors, to even other lenders, to be able to extend credit facility to us. So the NPP really made a lot of noise about that, rightfully so, because it is not a good idea to always go to the market or to always go to the IMF looking for bailout. We should be able to sustain our economy on our own. Then the NPP is faced with this, of course, COVID and the fallout from the Russian war, and then they have to go to the IMF. What do you think about when you hear somebody like Komuna Japan saying that this straight means that you are giving up or you are surrendering to the NDC without a vote even being cast? Is this political suicide for the NPP to go, or for the current government to now go to the IMF?
I'm just correcting it. Canada, Japan. No
comment. Canada, Japan, correct. Okay, so let's start from you, since you are already on. Could you?
No, I thought you just. I just wanted to make a correction, but that's good. Okay. So with the premise of even where you started, I think this conversation should end. Because the reason I'm saying this is you even already made COVID. You already brought in Russia and Ukraine war, and that sums up everything. You see, since 2017 when we took office, right? Everything that we've done, we've been able to do it. I won't say everything. Most of the things have been done correctly, right? I am disappointed. I just have to be frank with you, because I've come to your show and I've defended my party, saying that there's no way we're going to the IMF. So in hearing this news yesterday, I was a little bit disappointed. And then Daniel will testify to that. And there's some places that we all are where we have to bring our grievances in a certain way, but that's our confidential. So it's out to us. Some of us think this is not the right way. Even though we are part of the IMF, in 2016, the conditions then were different. And everybody can attest to that. And you have already made, like I said, we should have just ended the program once you started with the premise of where you started. But opinions are like noses, so everybody's going to bring in there. We'll put in the political side of it. We made a lot of noise in terms of NDC going to the IM because they are incompetent. And it started the same. It's like it's a broken record for both government. I'm just saying this for some analysis. If you remember, in 2014, the then former president went to Sente. You remember that, the homegrown economy, that we're not going to IMF. And then all of a sudden, we see going to IMF. And then we also came in with this, once we have the revenue, we are not going, we are a proud country. And then all of that. Just yesterday, to have an issue of statement from the information minister saying that the president have ordered or instructed the finance minister to be engaging the IMF. All the things that the IMF is going to give us, we know it already. It shouldn't, I don't think this 22, 25, 26, 30-year-old kids sitting in DC here know more than our professors in Ghana, or the people who are holding offices now in Ghana. They know the right thing should be done. But it comes to a political will, and I've always made use of this example of the former president Bush Sr. If you remember, in his last re-election, he said, "Read my lips. I'm not going to increase any taxes." But when the time came, he found out there was two things. Do I do it for my political ambition or for my political party, or do I do it for my country? Right? And he chose the hard spot. That is, I have to increase taxes, make sure that at the end of the day, the American economy is sustained instead of me winning power. Amazon, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Right. So he did the right thing, and then the American economy was booming after former President Clinton took office because of the decision that he took.
Right.
Right. So in our case, I'm assuming the president really don't think this was the best situation they have to do. But like I said, it's initial stages. We haven't gone to IMF. We are engaging. Anything could happen. We might either go.
Are you seriously thinking we are you seriously thinking that we don't need IMF at this point, or we haven't gone to IMF at this point? Because I mean, even the spectacle, the should I say spectacles, right? Just the fact that this government approached the IMF for this conversation, it's not alone. Yeah.
Why was Kojo DC surprised? You went to Parliament saying that give me e-levy. If you don't give me e-levy, then or the alternative is IMF. You want to get e-levy didn't get you what you want. So what was your alternative?
Well, I'll come to that point, but so I'm saying that are you surprised that we actually hear, and that do you still have hope that we may not necessarily end up getting the support that we went to engage them for? Because look at the first quarter of 2022, it looks like our revenue is not doing well. We already missed about 2 billion.
The Ghana revenue, I would say, since the Fourth Republic, have never done well. All successive government, we've never been able to meet our revenue in terms of. Even
in 2019, we were hitting above our targets. So pre-COVID, yes, we were hitting above targets. Now, of course, since COVID, it's been difficult, but we are saying that there was some very optimistic projections.
You're talking about revenue. You were earlier on saying you're talking about revenue that you're receiving, and you're overspending. So how can that revenue balance what you're spending? Because we are a developing country, right? So we need a lot of things.
Perhaps we might want to separate these two things as we discuss them. Spending on one side, revenues on the other side. What I'm saying is that even this year alone, we are seeing that for the first quarter, we've missed our targets in revenue. It does not have anything to do with the spending. The spending is something different on its own. But as far as revenue is concerned, we usually put a target there that this is a target we want to achieve. If you begin to miss that target, it shows that if you begin to meet that target and your expenditure remains the same, it shows that you're going to have a huge deficit. That's where we would end. That's what I mean by the fact that it looks like we definitely would need the IMF. I don't see any options for us at this point. Yeah.
Amazon, let me just not divert or digress from what I'm saying. This is what I'm trying to say. Mm-hmm. I mean, Daniel came in and saying, you say e-levy or IMF. From what I saw or whatever I hear, they said we're a proud country, and this is the situation. We should be able to manage our affairs. We are going to do the necessary things when we go to IMF. Okay. It is true that everything was based on the e-levy. There are loopholes in the e-levy when Ghanaians are not contributing towards it. And this is what I'm trying to say. I say I'm disappointed because I'm disappointed. I didn't want to hear anything to do with IMF. I just have to be straight with you but I think our government also have the obligation to safeguard the country's economy. Right. So the fact that I am disappointed doesn't mean they shouldn't do the right thing. I'm just saying it as an individual, I was disappointed. And I think we have the people who can manage things better.
Okay. But, so do you concede with, or do you agree with Honorable Kennedy Japan that, the battle for 2024 is already lost without even a single vote cast?
I don't think so, because let me say this.
Since you're disappointed, it wouldn't be perfect to agree with him.
No, let me say this. It's not, isn't it? If you're going for a fight and you said I'm going to lose, why do you go for the fight, first of all?
Sometimes you know you're going to lose.
Yeah, but the fact that you're going to lose doesn't mean you just have to quit before even the fight starts. You understand? Because anything can change. In the politics, 1 month is like a year, and 1 month is like a day, right? So we have close to 2 years to make anything that we think we can do to bring. So, for instance, let's for instance agree that we'll go to IMF, right? And then we'll go, and then everything becomes good. All the Ghanaian people want is to have a good economy going on, a booming economy. Would they just have to change us because we went to IMF and the economy is booming? Then that will come through the Ghanaian people, the electorate, like me. I vote. So that's when we'll decide. Do I have to go somebody who say, okay, yes, we don't have to go to IMF, but the circumstances with the premise of what you started, the Russia war, the COVID-19, all of that have brought this hardship. And it's not just in Ghana. It's all over the world. Even me and you sitting here, we know the heat that we are feeling here in America. So the fact that we are going to IMF and it's going to help the country, so be it. But for me, that is not the choice that I want us to go to. I think all those programs or the so-called instructions, I would say in quote unquote, like cut this, we could have done it on ourselves and have that lean way of doing things in another way to help us. But these people don't even understand our culture or anything. All they hear is to read our budget and give all this data and then gives you what to do. But there are certain things that our country needs. But we also know that we are overspending and we are spending on things that we are not supposed to be spending on. And those are the things that we all know. It's not like they don't know what is going on. They know, but the will of doing it, that is the only problem we are having.
About some strange institution that you're not part of. You're talking about your own government. You're saying that, you know, they are overspending on things they know or should know. I mean, who's the your MPP?
But
can you be
specific
and kind of just point the finger where, you know?
I'm a member of the MPP.
Okay.
I understand it. But Ghana comes first. You understand? That is our country. That's me and you. I don't really think I have to come and stay here or whatever. I wish the conditions that we have here would be the same in my country, and I'll stay in my country. But the fact is, we know the right things. We've been complaining when we are in opposition. What changes our minds? And I'm saying this for the entire Fourth Republic. We say all sorts of things when we're in opposition. Then once we come to government, we change everything.
Yeah, okay.
And I'm just highlighting on it. That's not like if we have to choose between the NDC and PP, I'll still will vote for my party in every day, night or rain, right?
Even though they are screwing up so big and taking us to IMF when they shouldn't be spending money on things that they should not be spending money on, you will still vote for them.
Changes comes within, and it comes within the bottom. So I am saying it, and I'm advocating for it.
All right, thank you so much. We are also joined by Paul Disosu and Dr. Ato Kominadanso. Paul Disosu and Ato, welcome to the show.
Thank you, my brother.
Thank you. So let's take Paul, and then we'll go to Dan after. Paul, you've heard Kojo DC. He's disappointed, but he still think the NDC is not a better option for Ghana. That, you know, they should stick to the MPP, who promised that, you know, taking us to IMF or the World Bank or anywhere else to go get bailout is matter of the past. Do you trust what he's saying? Do you? Matter of fact, what is your position on this whole IMF thing, or the approach we've made to the IMF to get the support for our balance of payments?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, so I'm going to be brief. I'm doing something.
Why is he hiding?
I'm doing something outside. I'm in town, and I need to get on this show because the lies that are being spit by Kojo DC and his MPP friends over there need to be debunked.
All right.
Were you in a different program?
I'm not in a different program, but all what you said are lies. And I keep on telling you that we are intellectuals, and when we come here, we should speak truth to power. Look, let's start from this point. It is a fact, and we all knew that these people will be getting to this level. Alfred,
right?
We all know that they've always been churning figures, lying to us, which is something I have raised several times on this show. They try to create impression to us as if the economy is doing very well, whilst the economy was going in the retrogression direction.
Right.
Why am I saying so? It is a fact on record that the World Bank country director in Ghana stated that Ghana started having economic crisis since 2019, before COVID strike. So what is Kojo DC talking about? Look, you guys, the spinning and the throwing of stones and dust into our eyes is enough.
Right.
Respect the common Ghanaian. We all know for a fact that this is where you are going to land at. We've started saying this thing since the beginning of this year that you guys should swallow the humble pie and go to the IMF. Look, my brother, going to the IMF is not a crime. Okay? We are a member of the IMF. We pay our dues, and we can go there anytime to ask them to support us to manage our economy. But when they were in opposition, because of the things they said, when we were going to the IMF in 2015, because of the insinuation they cast, the lies they told to the good people of Ghana, that is why Kojo DC and Dr. Atu will be here this afternoon to defend and tell us that they are in crisis. That's why they are going to IMF. I am telling you that this government is the most corrupt, the most visionless, the most directionless, the most shameful government ever in the history of the Fourth Republic. Look, Mr. Amusu, for a fact that Gabby was on Joy FM this morning lying to us, and I was surprised that Samson didn't even put questions to him. 2019, our deficit was, or the deficit they reported to IMF was 5.4. Was it 5.4? No, they reported 5.4 to IMF. What's the actual deficit of around 7 point something?
About 7, correct.
You see, that's point number one. Point number two, in the election year, our deficit went as far as 15.67, almost 50.7%. Whilst other West African countries, Benin, Togo, Ivory Coast, Nigeria, they were all doing less than 7% deficit. What is different? Did COVID only strike in Ghana? And the obvious answer is no. COVID did not only strike in Ghana. COVID struck all over the world, even in America, we were hit. Now, from COVID, they had a lot of money during the COVID era, and they cannot even account for it. You see, they manage the economy to a level whereby they have no option than to go to the IMF. And I am happy that what we or some of us have been saying, and what President Mahama said on the 8th of December 2016, the eve that posterity will judge us all. That is what is judging us now. It has been too quick for this posterity to judge us. You understand me? He said that posterity will judge us. Posterity is the judge, and the posterity has judged us all. This should tell you that Nanado, Dankwa Akufo-Addo, Dr. Baumia, Kojo DC, Dr. Ato, my brother Ifa, they are all lies. They lie to the good people of Ghana to get themselves into power. And now they are in power, they've messed the economy. Look, Ghana is in coma. Ghana is is at the ICU and in coma. And if we don't go to the IMF ASAP, the country will collapse under us. And I am happy and I'm grateful that at long last, they've admitted that they were wrong. They've been lying to the good people of Ghana, and they've admitted they swallowed the humble pie and they are going to IMF. We wish them good. Ghana is a country, we are coming to power in 2024. So we hope that the IMF will put strict program for them to ensure that we get the economy back to economic sound footing before we take power 2024. And I'm happy that we are going to IMF. The president, the jet that he's been flying 20,000 pounds an hour, the IMF will put a stop to it. I am happy that they are going to IMF because the corruption that goes on day in, day out will put a stop to it. I am happy that we are going to the IMF because they will never lie to us again. They will have no option than to present to the Parliament of Ghana and the people of Ghana the true figures of the economy. And I am happy that we are going to the IMF because they will never be able to get up and be borrowing left, right, center, forward. The IMF is going to put a check and the restrictions on us and make sure that we don't borrow, we don't do anything that will go against the limit that they'll set to us. And look, at the end of it, we hope and we believe these people who claim they want breaking the eight, look at what they've done to the economy. Just 5 years. Look at them, they brought the economy to its knees. I don't think they deserve. None of them, Dr. Baumia, Dr. Alan Samante, Dr. P, all of them are part of this government, and they have shown how incompetent they are. They've shown how deceitful they are. They've shown how, shameful they are, that they cannot manage the economy. And you remember, Mahama said something when he was a president. He said, if you've not been to government before, don't stand outside and be talking anyhow. And this is what is happening to them. And I want to say over here and here that let us face the reality. Nobody should lie to us on this platform. This is a very big platform. Let's respect the audience and people who are listening to us. I am saying, and I want to put it to my brother Kojo DC, that the economy was going to retrogression direction 2019 before COVID strike. So he should not try to throw that into our eyes. They've eaten a humble pie, and he should accept on this program that they've eaten a humble pie.
Right. But Paul, what do you say to the argument that before COVID, at least we were heading in the right direction, right? So
it's not true, Mr. Muzu. I've just stated a figure to you. It is not true. It is not true, Mr. Muzu. They were lying to us. All the figures they were churning out are lies.
Right.
Are lies. They reported a deficit. They reported a deficit of 5.6 to the good people of Ghana, to the IMF, to the good people of Ghana, but the actual deficit was 7.6.
Yeah, but they reported it under the line though. They told you what they have spent it on, like the financial sector cleanup. It's just that they didn't include it in the deficit.
Look, so Mr. Muzu, a financial sector that is going to cost around 10 to 12 million to revive them back. They spent $21 million to collapse the financial sector. Is this a government who has a focus, who has a vision? And the obvious answer is no. So look, let's come here. Let's admit our fault.
The argument was made that when 2016, before you guys left office, that the average Ghanaian couldn't even go and withdraw their deposit. You almost collapsed the banking system. So,
it is, Mr. Amuzo, listen to these people. They try to spin and throw dust into our eyes. Look, the NDC in 2015 noticed that there was an issue in the banking sector. That is why we started working with the various stakeholders to find a solution to it. And when that process was in place until we lost the election in 2016. So if we have still maintained power, we're going to go through the process to help them to take the management from those banks, give it to expertise, manage them, borrow money to them, to revive the bank, turn the bank over, and then pay the money back to cabinet. That was the plan we're going to implement until these visionless and these aimless people came to spend 21 billion Ghana cedi on something that they could have spent 11 to 10 to 12 billion cedis on it. They spent 21 billion cedis to revive to destroy the banking sector, and they are here saying hot. Number two, let me say this thing. Number two, look, if Kojo is sitting here and telling us that it's unfortunate they are going to the IMF and blah 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 blah, they have no choice than to go to the IMF. They should know it. There's nothing they could do. They have to go to the IMF. Because as of now, if they go and look for loan, nobody will give them the money. Because they have high term as C++. Right. They are C++. Nobody will give the money.
Give me 30 seconds. Give me, please.
Okay, 30 seconds.
First of all, my brother, Paul, listen, the economy was growing 3.4, 3.7% as of 2016. Until 2019, we're growing averagely 7 point something percent, right? Let's put that aside. When it comes to the banking sector, your government knew, if you read the last State of the Nation address that the president gave, former President John Mahama gave, he even knew the banking sector was going down the drain. He had pumped in 2 billion Ghana cedis, and people were using that money to build golf houses in other countries. So you knew the government knew the banking sector was going down.
You can prove that.
It is on the what is it? What's the name? KPIG report that came out. It is in there. And then let me finish.
Didn't make any allegation that anybody was building golf course with government money outside the country.
No. It was the money that was given to those banks, like Dr. Dufour will have the infantry to come. I'm coming to run for president. If we have able to prosecute these people, I don't think they will have that infantry. But let me just finish with this.
What is preventing you from prosecuting them?
That is right. If we, maybe you didn't hear what I said. If we have been able to do that, that will make them. I don't know why they don't do it. Because I'm not a government official.
Perhaps you know that you just made political propaganda.
Alfred, it's because there's nothing for them. Alfred, there is nothing for them to prosecute. My good brother is telling lies again. If they know somebody have done anything, go ahead and prosecute us. You've been in power for 5 years, 6 years. Stop the lies.
Bring Dan into the conversation.
Let me bring Dan into the conversation. Let me just land with this one. So is Paul telling me the 4.5 million Ghanaians that deposit were not able to receive and we paid? Was it not true? You should just answer that.
Hello, my friend. You guys came to cause the mess. You came to cause the mess in the banking sector, and you have no choice than to fix it, and you have to fix it. And I'm telling you, and I am telling it is not true. That is not true. That is not true. That is not true. And I am telling you this afternoon. I'm telling this afternoon that instead of using 10 to 12 billion dollars to revive the banking sector, you people who think you are wise, you have the men, you spend 21 billion to collapse it. Who will do this? Who in his rightful sense will do this?
Okay, guys, let's move on. I silenced Kojo, but Kojo, you can unmute yourself in a minute. Let me bring Dan in. Dan, so obviously what Paul is saying is that you've mismanaged the economy, okay? You're supposed to clean the banking sector with about some 12 billion or whatever. You spent 21. The policies you've undertaken brought us where we are, notwithstanding COVID and the war. But people like the Bank of Ghana rep in Ghana, I say Bank of Ghana, the World Bank rep in Ghana has indicated that this problem, some of them were with us before even COVID started. How do you explain that it wasn't your policy choices that took us where we are today?
Alfred, thank you. I mean, as a politician or as a government, you have to make policy choices, right? I mean, and you have to live with them. That is why the name is called political economy. You have to look at your resources, your promises, and then your electorate, and then decide which way you want to go.
Right.
Either way, you have to do something. When you embark on your policies, you stick with them, and you stick with the conviction, and you stick with your strategy, and then you go in and execute as you deem fit. So in your execution process, things can happen. And if they happen, you just have to acknowledge and accept it. It's part of life. Nobody wishes that bad things will happen. But if bad things happen and they affect your overall strategy, that is something you have to admit. You're not going to be out there saying, hey, because I had good intentions. Of course, good intentions are good. But who says that good intentions will always not be met with challenges, or good intention will always flourish, regardless of difficulties? That is not how the world operates. The world operates on so many different factors. There are others that you have control over, the others you don't have control over. But in the midst of all this, you try to have a strategy that will see you through it. And so, yes, if the World Bank director said some of the things preceded the COVID period, yes, there's some evidence to that. He's not saying it out of nothing. The banking sector crisis that we hadn't overturned the system. We were just on the verge of bringing that sector up to speed, because that sector was going to be your backbone supporting all the government programs. And then in the midst of turning that corner around, you get this external shock that hits you. So if he says that some of the things preceded COVID, of course, the preceded COVID, that was why the MPP government was working with the IMF. Before COVID, the MPP was working with the IMF. When the NDC came and they went to the IMF program, when the MPP came, they extended it. Why do you think they extended it? Because when there's a particular situation, when a particular difficulty, we needed to clear that mess around to give it stability. You get out of that IMF, you don't even get 2 years, and then something hits you, bam, takes you back, by surprise. And if you had not even done that at the time, and this COVID had come, you can imagine having a banking sector crisis that was limping. and then you get this external factor hitting you again. That would have been even worse situation than we currently have. It would have been disaster. So those decisions that you took those times that you knew you had difficulties, and the proactiveness and the steps that you took probably is what is giving you some lifeline now for you now to be able to have the room to say, yes, now is the time to further engage the IMF again, because other factors have come into play that you didn't envisage was going to come when you embarked on your strategy. And of course, that is the consequence of politics, right? If you're a government, whether you like it or not, how you manage these difficulties will determine how your people believe you or trust you. I always say, you see, the political process is different, and making this hard decision is different. But whatever you make this decision, they have implications in the political space, right? So at the end of the day, it is the power that belongs to the people, and the people that you work for, the electorate. They will judge you. They will judge your performance. Now, what do you call it? My friend Paul has his different version of what he thinks has brought us here. The NPP will have a different narrative. Eventually, they will have the electorate to face and explain to them why they think that Paul's explanation makes sense and it's reasonable to the people, and why the electorate also will think that the NPP explanation makes sense and it's reasonable to the people. That is politics for you, and that is the context of the political economy that we talked about. So I'm not going to begrudge him and say, hey, what you are saying it doesn't make it makes
but
sense.
The issue is you guys have been tone deaf for a while. So many different people pointed to you that there was a problem, but the governments always seem to know better. They always seem to think that there was no problem, everything was good. They were not going to go. The issue of going to the IMF is something they hated. So today, you know, I mean, to the point that you guys are saying you are ashamed, like you have a structure, the structure of our economy is such that with a little thing, we are going to go to the IMF anyway. So I don't see why you even take such a position that going to the IMF is the worst thing that can ever happen. Almost demonize, you know, the whole attempt just for you to end up there.
I'm with you. This is the consequence of the politics that you do, right? I've always told you that be mindful about some things. Like if politicians say some things and I'm on the platform, I'm a professional and I'm listening. Paul, I'm with you. Do you think that if another politician say that as a professional, I will sit back and be like, is this wholly true? There might be gaps there, if there are caveats there that they don't even, put or add when they say these things. But if you are naive and you don't know these things, you will take everything that a politician say for, what do you call it, for truth. Because you don't even know how the system operates. You don't even understand how the structures work. So yes, that part is there. And politicians know this. They play with this. They play with people. They play with how many people are learned enough, Amuzu, to understand the accounting of how things work and to even appreciate what these politicians are saying. They take it at face value and they run with it. And remember, it's deliberate. This is politics for you. That's what we call real politics. That is deliberate. Politicians know why they do that, because eventually they are not only aiming to tell you what is bitter and difficult to hear. They are also aiming to win what? Your vote. And in winning the vote, don't expect them to be telling you all the things that makes professional sense. There will be things that will slip in there that if you sit back and you analyze professionally, you will have difficulties with. But Paul, you are not a politician. You don't have that time going to the electorate and explaining all these things to them. They have time. That is what they have taken as their profession, and they do that. So that is the politics.
It does look like the MPP is the master of that game, right?
Of course. I've always tell you that I don't dictate how the NDC should communicate their policies to the people. Mm-hmm. It's their choice how they want to do it. It's up to them. I'm not going to tell them, do it this way, do it that way. At the end of the day, however you do it, that the people that you are seeking their power will give you power. Go ahead and do it. It's your problem. That is why you're a political party. Have your strategies and work around that. I don't begrudge people about that. And I will go ahead and also say what I know professionally and carve in my political way to achieve the aim that I want to achieve. Right. So, Paula, who tells you that you will tell me that I will never go to the IMF? Does it make sense? You're a member of the IMF. You're a member of the IMF day one. Tell me that probably I will not go for this special.
But what does this tell you about our president, our vice president, our minister of finance, who keep telling us this all the time? Why would they just be blatantly lying to the people? I mean, these are the people we trust with the treasury, and you're telling me they are liars.
No, that's what I'm saying.
To trust those people.
So the communication, right? When you go to the IMF, context specific. Let's be specific. What do you go to the IMF for? This is why the specificity comes. You are already a member of the IMF. And I've told you, even when the NDC was with the IMF and this government came, they extended the period. Even after they extended the period, in this COVID period, this same IMF gave us $1 billion. Well, why do you think the IMF give us $1 billion if you're not a member of the IMF? They gave us $1 billion. That $1 billion was way, way higher than the money that NDC got under bailout, about 900 and something million that the NDC got for the 3-year bailout.
918.
3 years bailout program that they have with the IMF. But another government comes in, and the same IMF is able to give them $1 billion without even conditionalities, without all the stress that come with it. What does that tell you? That tells you that it is the situation in which you are and the relationship or how you negotiate with the IMF based on your circumstances at any particular point in time. It's what will dictate how the IMF will engage you or what conditionalities they will give you. Now we are saying we are going to the IMF, and I support it because I think it's proactiveness. If they don't go, like Paul is saying, the real options are not too open for you now because the capital market, as we know it now, Amuju, you know that interest rates are going up. And it's not just in Ghana, across the world. Central banks are trying to fight this global enemy called inflation, and they're using their tools to raise interest rate. If you, Amuju, you had $50,000 and you needed to invest in Ghana, or you had the option of investing that same amount in the US, and even the US will give you 1% less interest rate, you'll prefer the US because you are not going to deal with, I think your mic is muted.
Yeah, I prefer the US, of course.
You prefer the US because you're not going to deal with exchange rate losses eventually. When you have to bring your money back, you're going to be, hard hit with exchange rate losses. So eventually, capital will fly to the US. And that is what makes the US and all these other big developed countries give them an edge and an advantage over developing countries. Okay. So Ghana don't have that luxury. And eventually, like I said, when our bonds that we've taken, they come maturing, those people that need to roll it over, they are not going to roll it over. The environment has changed. They are going to take those monies and bring it back to where safety is.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So if you don't engage the IMF now and those days come, there will be a run on your city. And look about it. The city is what exposes your economy to the rest of the world, right? So think about, and you're also import dependent. Look at the risk that you face if the city collapses and that sector of your economy that is open to the rest of the world come crashing on you. You will have no alternative. Capital market is not available. Even if it's available, you can't get monies at cheaper rate than you did before when you were borrowing.
So let me interject with the e-levy. Since you said, when you were trying to pass this e-levy, they said all kind of manners of things to you. You were being advised to go to the IMF instead of imposing such a harsh tax on the people or levy on the people in the middle of a pandemic. But you refused. You said, all you needed is the e-levy, and once you get the e-levy, you wouldn't have to go to the IMF. It didn't even take 2 months after the implementation of e-levy for you to turn around and say, oh, by the way, we are going to the IMF.
Don't trust that communication. When you tell me that you've implemented e-levy, I get suspicious a little bit, and that you are not getting the expected revenue. Of course, I don't expect that when you implement something like e-levy that was so controversial, within 6 months, you get the expected outcome. It will take some time to mature and to normalize. So when you just use that excuse to tell me that you're not getting the expected revenue, I think that is just a ploy. You are just keeping that handle of revenue and you are trying to go in for...
Trying to go and get more money.
Yeah. Get more money. So you see, that's why I say when you are listening to this thing,
you are speaking like somebody, you should not be part of the MPP.
No. But I'm with you. That is why I want the professionals to always have their own professional mind, because that is very important.
Of course.
If you don't have your professional mind, you don't read in between these things, and you just want to, be the political person that hears everything and take everything as it is, then I'm afraid you are in the wrong business.
Right.
You always be disappointed.
Right, because we have a lot of people listening, and we have to tell them exactly what these things mean,
Yes, people don't.
I'm glad you are able to do that. You are doing that.
People don't understand this. So sometimes I feel for people. I don't want to be responsible for somebody's ignorance. You get what I'm trying to say? That hurts me because people don't take time to read in between the lines and understand these things. They just go for the hype. Oh, somebody said it. Of course, somebody said it. But have you sat down yourself to try and understand whether that thing makes sense in the architecture of the way things work in the world?
All we wish for as citizens is that our politicians will tell us the truth, And those politicians that cannot tell us the truth should not be voted for. This type of gimmick is unnecessary, it's all unnecessary. But let me
let me wrap up on that point.
Yes.
So yes, so we are a member of the IMF, but when you go to, there are additional programs that exist in the IMF that you can activate. The fact that you're a member of the IMF doesn't mean that they impose on new programs, right? IMF have different diverse programs that as a member at any point in time, if you need those services, you can activate it. So what kind of program do you go in for? In the time of the NDC, they went in for what? They said policy credibility. Right. And we added some 800 million on top of that. What is the program that this government is going for? This government, based on the letter that we've read, said balance of payment support.
They are all balance of payment support. Well, it's just, of course, we are going for policy credibility again, no matter what you call it, because whatever they are going to give us is not going to be enough to actually do anything for us, but it's just going to give that assurance that others can trust that at least there's a big brother watching us. Otherwise, they will have a run on our central bank. That's all.
Exactly. That is a major part of why this decision is very critical now. Instead of waiting for you to get to that point where you activate this thing and then it doesn't help you that much. So yes, there are some difficulties. COVID has compounded the problems, and that the strategy that the government was embarking on has been dampened significantly, and they need to take a step back and cut down on some of the ambitious program and begin to stagger them over time if time will allow. But politically, they don't have that luxury. They have the next 2 years to face their opponent in an election. As to whether they come back or not, it's another whole matter that will be decided. So there are a lot of spokes in the process now that they have to manage, and it all depends on what happened in 2024. If they win, they will have time. If they don't win, it cuts it there. So there's significant political risk that have come in the face of the MPP, and we have to face it and in no manner, because this is the strategy we took. And if we've been hit by it, we can't go blaming anybody, man. Let's live up to it and manage it and let the people be elected decide which way they want to go.
Wonderful. Yeah. Let's man up. Okay, let's bring in I want to bring in Ato quickly, and then Lifetime Legacy, you'll be next. Ato. I know sometimes you are definitely very neutral and you give it to me the way without any political tent. What is this whole issue about we can go to the IMF as a way of just winning power, knowing very well that it is not true? I mean, should we continue to actually retain people who lie to us blatantly, knowing that what they're telling us is false?
My brother, good afternoon to my fellow panelists, especially with Lifetime. Like I say, always looking nice, like you think he gets part of the e-levy. And I'm surprised today that my brother Dan and Kojo are here to talk about this. And all of a sudden, they've turned into professionals. They're talking professional stuff.
Right. I see the NPP unleashed their...
Yes, our brother Ifa has run away.
They unleashed their communication team this weekend because they know there's something...
that Paul is not even here. It's an irony that Dan is here, Kojo is here, Paul is missing. Paul says he's something. On this day that we go back to IMF.
Yeah.
I mean,
I am listening to you guys, and I'll come in.
You're hiding. That's fine. You're hiding. Always hiding. That's fine.
I'm not hiding. I have made my case. I've made a solid case. I've presented my case, and I've punched a lot of holes into the substance argument that has been made so far. So I'm making my case. You don't need to see my face.
All right. So
and I thought we are not in the IMF yet.
Oh. All right. So the only good news I've heard, Amuzu, is that yesterday Mohamed Salah signed for Liverpool. That's why you see me in my Liverpool shirt. In a very long time.
I see that. You're not working alone.
You know what? If the MPP had not talked so bad about IMF and made it seem like it was some dragon or some snake that would eat us if we even attempt to go over there, would have been nice. The finance minister was even very just preoccupied, talking about Joshua and my brother. I mean, we had so much hope. We used this as a campaign to let another win power. That the NDC mismanaged the economy so much, you have to go to IMF. The fundamentals were weak. But today, it's like, it's like a dream to me, or like a nightmare to me. Like I wake up and I'm like, what happened? So I agree with you that some of these people come and they lie all the time. Yesterday I was thinking about, I'm like, maybe I should run for president and tell them that I don't have the men. But when I win, I'll bring my men. Because someone said that he had the men. And look at what's happening. Someone said that we should think about, there's no way we go to IMF. Look at what's happening today. So Paul, it's I don't know, it's been like recycling. I heard Kojo talk about that. Recycle the people, they come, they give us promises, they are unable to do it. And every 4 years, they come, every 8 years, so what is the plan for Ghana? NDC couldn't do it, NDP has disappointed us. So where do we go from here? It's a very sad situation, very, very sad situation. Like, everyone comes, I mean, Nana gave us so much hope. And you cannot discount the pandemic. That you cannot discount that the pandemic was a part of all this. But you cannot just take money from IMF and just spend it anyhow and think that money will come from heaven. You cannot just appoint ministers, 3 or 4 ministers, and think money will come from heaven. The president of Ghana has 1 deputy, Baumia, but then you have finance minister having 2 deputies. For what? For what? I mean, can we cut down spending? It's sad. Sometimes it's sad as a Ghanaian. Like I said, in the past 3 months, I've never had any good news. It's like, then we talk about cathedral. We are spending money anyhow, and then we just using the faith to create an impression that we're doing something for people. We are not. We are not. When will we change as Ghanaians? When can Ghanaians actually promise and do something right for us? It's like we go forward 2 steps and we go back 20 steps. How can we change? Which government can save us? And I don't know, like I agree with the Japan that nobody who is part of this financial group in the FDP should come back and tell us that they can be able to fix the economy. How? You lied to us. You lied to us. So how can we believe that you can change things around? You give us so much hope, and to told us the fundamentals were weak. The dollar rates, look at right now. So I mean, granted, we had the pandemic. I don't know anybody who said the pandemic has no effect. It had an effect. But if you look at the graph of how other African countries are doing and how Ghana we are doing, people are like, what is happening? So it's disheartening. Like every day, we hear the bad news. Like I said, in the past 3 months, I've never heard any good news from the government. It appears like it's bad news upon bad news, and then like you would think that our worst days are behind us, but no. It's getting worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. Like the IMF will give us money, but they come with conditions. So this government cannot tell me that in 2021, 2022, that you tell us we should not be spectators. We have to wait till the IMF tells us to do A, B, or C. Why? We have professionals in the country. You know what? It's so disappointing that this finance minister, he talks. I mean, he gives us so much hope. He comes, he won't even go to parliament to defend himself. I'm upset. I'm very, very, very upset at the way the NDP gave us so much hope. And right now, it's like they are not saying, oh, the NDP did not, the NDC did not help us to give us so much money. I mean, that's excuses. It's flimsy. And they're also telling us, oh, we are already part of IMF. You knew that and you told us we cannot go to IMF. Now the situation, they're telling us that, oh, we are not going to IMF. We are part of IMF. We're not part of IMF. So, Paul, it's disheartening, and like I said, it gets worse and worse and worse every day. And I'm hoping that things will change for us. IMF, I mean, I agree with Dan that going to IMF will help us because they'll give us the money and they're going to come up with the conditions. Right. And it's sad that we have to listen to conditions from IMF, but we are an independent country as Ghana.
Well, we remember a couple of months ago. We know things are actually getting ready to be worse for us and we have to do IMF. Our finance minister came out to say, oh, he's going to cut 20%.
Yes.
30%.
And he was using religious ideas. Talk about Joshua.
Right.
What has Joshua got to do with this? That's some people are like Joshua. And then, you know what? Like you watch the videos of yesteryears and you watch today, you're like, it's like a dream come true. Like, okay, maybe this is how the world is. But going forward, there has to be a change. I am calling for a change.
Right.
I am calling for a change. But I don't know that Mahama will be the change for us because he was in IMF.
Why not? He was actually honest to tell us that we had a problem. He's going to go to IMF. He was changing it.
He was
and
honest.
we were actually not getting bad news after bad news. Matter of fact, the news was progressive after we went to the IMF. We went to the IMF. We were starting to resolve our electricity problem. He was putting us on the right track.
I'm only saying that Mahama did not have the benefit of the wrath of the pandemic. Mahama did not have the wrath of Russian-Ukraine war, and he still went for a loan.
He had doom so. This was not his.
So imagine if Mahama
he had doom so. He had doom so to deal with, which he was not caused by him.
Yeah, of course.
Who caused it?
By all the presidents combined.
I know, but I'm saying that you cannot compare the doom so to the pandemic.
When the doom so started.
No, the doom so was even bad. Because think about it. Here's where business.
When the doom so started.
I'm telling you. The pandemic is a pandemic.
We throughout from all the way from 20.
No.
Maybe not before we had doom so. So
no.
We had doom so under
doom so was endemic.
We have doom so under Rollins.
Sorry?
We have doom so under Rollins. We have doom so under Kufuor. We have doom so under
with a certain period, like a year.
It's just the degree. The degree was different.
Sitting on this platform and be disingenuous about our electrical generation problems. This has been a problem with us.
It has been a problem. Just that the degree was so.
But
the economy did. Okay, so what did you think Mahama did to cause doom so? Those guys were arguing.
No. What I'm saying, my argument is that you don't discount the pandemic, Russia-Ukraine war in this current situation. And you're trying to compare the doom so with this. And I'm saying that you're comparing apples to oranges. But
people are saying that, right? People are saying that we were not the only ones impacted by pandemic.
And I admit that. I'm not.
We are suffering.
No, Amuzu, I'm not holding people.
But Amuzu, doctor, can I give? I mean, when you say we are not the only one impacted by the pandemic, yes, but also place that in the context of our situation, right? In our situation, think about it. We were almost heading towards an election, right?
Yeah.
And you see the risk, how the risk evolved. And in that election process, I probably think we did overspend it because it's as we're saying, we're giving people relief and all that. That was all part of politics.
You make the government look even worse because
it's not about being worse. It's about me telling you the context of the situation. Other countries didn't have that peculiar situation, and other countries did not have the same measures that we put in place that sustained or protected our people. So you have to put all these factors into context and then make the argument. Otherwise, you just leave it at blank and say, other countries still have pandemic and it didn't affect them. But look at the context of our situation.
My last point is that if Mahama went to the IMF without the pandemic and Russia-Ukraine war, what would he have done in this current situation? That's my only question to you.
Amuzu, please, before lifetime.
Mahama would make the argument that, he built the hospital infrastructures even without.
We have PSHS, we have hospitals, we have building roads.
Building. Nana hasn't built a single one. He's building. Hasn't even completed one. But we are saying that Mahama, hold on, let me finish this one. Mahama would argue to you that even without pandemic, he has the vision to build the hospitals that you used to actually even manage a pandemic. That you have not been able to build a single one. In about 6 years.
You make it sound like the MPP government came and they're just sitting idle, doing nothing, and we are going to.
Yes, you would have completed a hospital. Mahama, how many years did it take to build how many hospitals?
Okay, if you're comparing, did Mahama have PSHS? He did not.
Well, Mahama had a progressive PSHS, but let me go to.
Just a quick question. I wanted to ask Daniel a quick question. When I said I was disappointed, right? Okay.
Please.
All right. No, just a few seconds. That's okay.
Yeah, Lifetime has been waiting the whole time looking pretty, So I want to make sure he can spend some of his e-levy energy. Lifetime, I hear you've been getting e-levy, so that's why you're always looking good. By the way, you've heard the argument from the NPP guys. Dan has all of a sudden turned into a professional analyst, telling us the truth of the things that happened, those same things that he will argue against before. What do you think is happening? Is it that the MPP has unleashed their communication people because there's a bad news and we are getting bombarded with all kinds of explanations, some pretending to be on the side of the common people who understand and share their frustrations? Is that what it is going on, or do you think it's business as usual?
Alfred, I'll first of all thank our viewers and listeners for making time once again to watch us and listen to us whilst we discuss issues pertaining our country that you and I can call home.
Perfect.
I have missed my brother Daniel so much.
Yeah, you called for him to come, so he's here for you now.
I am happy he has come back. The last time I've been asking of him, and the only time I saw him was he appearing on a Fuapokwa show, and I said, "Oh, my brother, come back home." And I'm glad he's here. I've missed him. My brother, don't go anywhere again. I mean, sometimes Daniel made it sound like he belongs to the wrong party. Hey, the man is here. Daniel presents himself in a way that, for me, I see him to belong to the wrong party, and I will extend a hand of friendship for Daniel to come and join us. Whilst with the registration and acceptance of new membership to NDC is still available. So
Paul is not going to approve that, right?
Oh, no. I will, with this one, we use executive instruments. So, and also I would like use the opportunity also to extend my regards to my brother Kojo and Ifa. There was an issue. I called on them during the week, and they were so helpful. I will use this big platform to acknowledge what they have done for me during this week when I called them for an assistance to help a sister in UK. They were so helpful, and I cannot hide that appreciation than to use this medium to show my appreciation to them. Dr. Atu, thank you so much for making it here again. I am not a beneficiary of the e-levy. I'm also glad you are here, and I'll also extend a hand for you to come and join us. Alfred, now let me go back to the issue at the table. About 3 or 4 programs on this particular show, I did mention when the discussion on the e-levy was at its peak, I did mention that I am for the MPP government going for the e-levy, the IMF program, because there is no way when these people are allowed, they can discipline themselves and bring us out of the situation we find ourselves. I make this point strongly on this platform. My brother Ifa strongly disagree with me. And here we are. They're marching us gradually, majestically to the IMF. And as we all know, the first Ghanaian film, the title is known by I Told You So. That is where we find ourselves now. Alfred, NDC wish the country Ghana well. And we have the country at heart. We will not subscribe or prescribe anything that will harm our citizenry to any government, whether we are in power or not. We will make sure we prescribe the right solution for whatever government is in power.
But it's say you frustrate the revenue generation agenda when they were trying to introduce.
I will come to that.
Yeah,
we are at the mercy of the citizenry. The current Fourth Republic, it is NDC who gave birth to the Fourth Republic. And when it comes to the history of governance in Ghana, NDC have done more years compared to all other political parties. So we understand the fundamentals of the governance as far as the country is concerned better than any other party. So we are not soothsayers, and we are not wishful thinkers, and we are not doom seekers. But then it's like we understand the situation to the extent that we know the outcome of every single action that any government will back on, even when we are not in power. So, not for us to be selfish, for the interest of Ghanaians, we always bring our solutions to bear. You get it? So we knew very well that the e-levy will not take us anywhere. Okay? If they are telling us that we frustrated the system, we were telling them that, look, Ghanaians are suffering and you want to add more hardship to it. That will not work. This is what we told them. We never tell them that, they should not implement other policies that can generate income for the nation to bring us from out of this trouble. You get it? The very thing we were telling them that the e-levy you are going to implement, it will not work. Find alternative way. That does not mean that we did not wish the government well. We want the government to succeed because at the end of the day, when we come back to power in 2024 or 2025 January, we don't want to have a lot of mess to deal with. So we will provide solutions, we will provide ideas. Mahama have been on so many platforms and have extended his hands of friendship to them that they should come to the table so that we all judge and give them ideas. Okay? So it is just that incompetence, visionless, clueless, directionless, purposeless, and above all, pride that has led us to where we are today. That has led us to where we are today.
All right.
My brother, Dr. Ato, was saying that...
Wrap up on that for me.
Yes, I'll wrap up. Dr. Ato was saying that the power crisis we went through in 2012 was not a crisis, cannot be compared to COVID and other stuff. Dr. Ato, we had Doomsaw between 2012 when I was a worker in VRA. That is where the Doomsaw was at its peak. We never got IMF and World Bank bailouts, giving us $1 billion to come out of Doomsaw. Okay? We never had other institutions giving us $1 billion and World Bank giving us $600 million, and we coming to declare $100 million to the citizens. None of these benefits came to us when we were having problems of Doomsaw to deal with. Mahama solved Doomsaw by increasing generation from 2,400 megawatts to 5,300 megawatts current installed capacity. How many megawatts can Akufo-Addo and its regime after 8 years boast of that they have added? None. And as we speak, the nation is gradually heading towards power crisis again because of less power, less installed capacity. You people are supposed to add to the capacity. You are not doing it. You leave it. And then when NDC come back to power and that issues pop up and we are dealing it, then you turn 360 degrees and accuse us of causing the problem. All that I want to say is that Ghana is as old as 65 years almost. NDC, PNDC have gotten the opportunity than any other political party in Ghana. So we understand the situation of the economy or the base of the country more than any other political party. So anything that comes out of our mouth is based on experience and our long-standing experience that we've as a party under this Fourth Republic or under the history of Ghana. So we are not wishful thinkers, we are not doom seekers, and we are not nation reckless. Every single thing that comes out of our mouth is based on our rich experience that we have in governing the nation for all this while. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lifetime Legacy. Finally, let me welcome Fa Ameya to the program. Fa, the issue here is, we've been deceived into believing that going to the IMF is the wrong thing to do. Now here we are. And people are actually happy. Some Ghanaians are happy that we are in the IMF because finally some discipline will come to the table, right? As bad as it is that we are actually going to the IMF just so we can get discipline, we can't get discipline for our own government. It's kind of disturbing. And this same government is asking us to retain them. I know you belong to them. Would you vote for the MPP today? Taking into consideration the same people who say they can't take us, they would not take us to the IMF, and now engaging with the IMF for a bailout. Just like Canada Japan say, do you side with Canada Japan that if you take us to the IMF after telling us that you can't take us, you wouldn't take us to the IMF, you should not deserve our votes again? Would you vote for the MPP in the condition they are today? If they were to be standing, if Bawumia is standing in election today, same Bawumia who told us all these things, would you be comfortable voting for Bawumia?
My brother, if I is a campaign manager for Canada
Japan. You must also,
yeah. Thank you very much, Amuju, and thank you very much, Lifetime. Thank you very much, Dan and the others. I don't know who else are on there, but thanks.
Paul is here, and everybody else is here. Yes,
Paul, Dr. Atto, and thanks for joining the show. Okay. Lifetime. Whatever I did is not free. You have to send me over there and give me something. It's not free.
as the French would say, so never no problem.
No free meal in America, even free for sale.
I will recruit you into the NDC by with a good membership card.
We'll see about that. So Alfred, thanks for the question. Yes. I believe in the ideology of the MPP, and I would vote for NPP any day.
Not MPP, Bawumia, who lied to us.
If you tell your wife that I am going to do everything within my power to make sure there's food on the table and crisis hits, for which you have to do something to make it happen, it doesn't mean you lied. You know, you just projected into the future. And the future
you're gonna depart from Kobina Japan, Kenya Japan, and vote for Bawumia, or even though Kenya Japan clearly diagnosed.
Have I told you I'm going to vote for Canada Japan?
No, I'm saying you would not side with Canada Japan in this instance where he clearly diagnosed the situation and say, for the people who took us to the IMF do not deserve our votes.
So when it comes to opinions and when it comes to campaigning, and
I hear you are a campaign manager, so
for who?
You are free to plead the fifth and not answer this question.
You know when you
agree with his candidate.
when you throw a question to a politician, it's not a yes or no. We don't normally answer questions like that, or even academically.
We are tired of the politicians' answers because clearly all the answers the politicians gave us so far has pointed to as the fact that they're always lying to us. And so today we are trying to be anti-politicians.
Alfred, let me correct this. Some politicians, not all politicians. You see, that is, I want us to bring distinction here. When it comes to the wrongdoing, MPP wants to lump all of us into a one box. You see, they should speak to their cause. That is how they are. As our senior patron Ronnie said, you see, that is how they are, but they only metamorph their name from one name to another.
So lifetime legacy want to tell us that if we pick NDC manifesto from 1992 up until 2020, or no, up to 2016, that everything that he said they fulfilled. Is that what you want to tell us?
That's not what he's saying, but go ahead and make your point.
All the NDC politicians, whatever they told that they fulfilled everything.
I don't think he's saying that, but go ahead and make your points.
Exactly. So you see, let's contextualize this into human projections, ability to do something, and you don't. Even in our academic life, when you say you have achieved excellence, it is not 100%. It is up to it is between, sometimes depending on where you are, it is between 70 to 100, so there are people that will achieve 70. You are categorized into that category as this. So the people that did not achieve maybe the 20%, you are not going to be boxed into a failure, or you lied, or you didn't learn, or you didn't do that. So let us get that in context. So coming back to the question that you asked, yes, I would vote for them. Now, as we face a difficult time like this, everybody has an opinion as to the direction we should go. And people are expressing their opinion based on where they stand. That if I were in government, I would have done this. If I were in government, I would have done this. There are things that I would have expected government to have done other than this. And there are things that even as government is negotiating, I would expect them to do locally that we wait to see, because there may be a whole lot of boxed up things that will come up in the future.
Yes, specific. Can you?
I was really not expecting this. I must be honest. I was not expecting it.
Right.
That my government will open up. But you know, we also cannot take away the fact that, you know, we cannot speak without the global crisis. Every country is feeling a pinch. Even the big nations, America and all these nations, they are all feeling a pinch of it. How have they been able to resolve it? They have the shocks. So they've been able to print money. Some of them have reserve. They've been able to put it in. You know, some are growing at negative, but because of the strength of the economy, they are able to.
But they gave you money from IMF and World Bank, and you use it to open a bank instead.
But was the money meant for consumption, or was the money meant for payment of whatever?
I mean, you could have kept it to support your budgets, you know.
So
to support your currency.
If you receive money, right, as a nation, you make a decision, right, and the decision can go right or wrong, or people can have an opinion as to whatever you should use. That's why when you go to cabinet meetings and when you go to group meetings and, you know, whatever meetings, you know, there are diverse opinions, but at the end of the day, we must come to an agreement that this is what we want to do with this and that and kind of stuff like that. So it is not a case of, you know, one person will always be right. So the decision taken will always be right.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there are variations in all these kind of stuff. But for me, the issue now is not even going. Okay. For me sitting here, this will be our 17th time. If we are now at the negotiation table as to whether they will agree, they won't agree, what the terms will be. Can we take it? We cannot take it. We will see. But yes, officially there's a negotiation going on.
I don't think you have too much of a choice, but go ahead.
But my take will be that, okay, so what are the lessons that we did not learn the 16th time that we're going to learn from here? Right. We can sit here and talk about IMF is going to make us discipline and stuff like that. When we went in 2015, they made us, you know, the things were strict. But if you look at the trend is that within the period that we are in, we will listen to them, because you don't have a choice, because it comes in trenches and each one follows the other, and they will monitor you strictly and they will punish you if you don't do it.
They force us to set up, you know, an inflation targeting regime. They force us to introduce the Fiscal Responsibility Act.
Exactly. They will come up with, cut this, take this, cut down this, that. But mine is that, you see, most of the things that they will tell us to do, we know we have to do them.
Right.
We know we have to do them. We know the size of government is big. We know there's wastage in the system. We know there are leakages in a whole lot of places. We know there's a whole bunch of things that we know. So why is it that you know, as a businessman, as a family member, you know, these are the things I need to do for me to, you know, get pride in what I do and stuff like that. And I like that.
You wait for an outsider to come and tell you.
Exactly.
That's because we are in discipline. We rather do campaign promises that are outlandish, and we are going to build a dam in every freaking village. I mean, some of these things. Yeah, go ahead.
They are not outlandish though.
Yeah, you know, I mean, some of them are just straight up. You know,
those things are not the things I'm expecting you to mention. You are not mentioning. Now, when you take on agriculture, we wouldn't be saying certain things. We should have doubled up on that. We wouldn't be having certain discussion at this point in time, right? Because, you know, this place would have taken care of the other places.
It doesn't mean every single village doesn't need a dam. I mean, it's just ridiculous.
When you make such. Of course.
Go ahead.
Of course, every village needs a dam.
Nah.
That is for sure. Every village, believe you me, trust me. We cannot, you know, when it comes to agriculture, I'm a farmer. When it comes to agriculture, you know, some places in Ghana, you have only one rain. Other places, you have two rains. Now, within In between, you cannot wait for the rain. So you need dams, you need dugouts, you need irrigation to be able to do your farming. I'm just coming from
in a fishery community. What the hell would you put a dam there for? In a fishery community, a community where they do fishing, fish.
Okay. Alfred, yeah, exactly. You don't go and put a dam in the fishing village.
That's what I'm saying. Every village doesn't need a dam. So,
but of course, when they say one village, one dam for farming, we are not talking about fisheries. So let us not. I mean, come on now. They are not going to go. They are not going to go. They are not going to go.
Very well that even those promises they have not fulfilled them.
They've not.
The issue. Okay. So fulfillment and need is different. Okay. Do we need it? Yes. Have we fulfilled it? No. Okay. Have we started? Yes. Yeah. Have we started? Yes.
You've spent the money. You spent money trying to fulfill some of which were misdirected. There's a whole bunch of corruption cases in the system that has been referred, and nothing has been done about all those things. So it's not for the lack of trying. You've tried to, but the money and some of those things we knew that was what was going to be the case. Some of these things were actually known. That you may make these promises, you may try to fulfill them, and the money will be diverted.
Okay. So if we can take it one after the other, we can't box everything in. You know, the problems are multifactorial. We're trying to do our best, but in the course of doing our best, you know, certain things haven't gone the way we want it. And most of it is not just local. You know, we also have to acknowledge the fact that some of the problems are, you know, external. And because we live in a global world and we are part of the global trend, we cannot take ourselves off what is happening in oil heights and all these things.
My senior
but
brother,
having said that,
this is where I mostly disagree with you guys, because COVID came to as a blessing to the MPP more than a curse. Because look at the money you've gotten. Look at the amount of money you've gotten from IMF, World Bank, and other institutions.
But it's been accounted for.
When you guys are making references to those ones.
25 billion, you've only accounted for 12 billion. By the way, I need you to finish on this so we can take
exactly. So my conclusion on this will be that yes, we're not expecting that we will go there, but we had gone. But let us look at the situation and let us not jubilate under the circumstances. What I always say is that okay, so we're trying to collect revenue, and then we have two sides. The government says this is what we need. Opposition says no, and opposition went all out and succeeded in making sure that we did not get it. Okay, we are also saying that there's too much debt on our head, so we shouldn't. So we kind of say go, come, and then at the end of the day, you end up standing at the same place. Meanwhile, there's a lot of demand. Population is growing. There is a lot of demand for development projects. There's a lot of demand for increases in pay and all that kind of stuff. What do you expect the government to do? At the end of the day, the government got to take care of it. So when this is not working, that is not working. Government has tried all means. You know, you are forced to make a very, very hard decision, and some of it is what we are seeing. Unfortunate as it is, some of it is what we are seeing. But for me right now, let us look into details, what the negotiations will be, what are the terms, and how do we come out, you know, strong, and not just say yes, because we are desperate or whatever the case may be. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We'll take about a minute of a break. We'll go to a break for 1 minute. When we come back, we'll talk about the demonstration that we saw on the 28th of June. We'll be right back.
Just one more pic, JJ, please.
Oh, Mama. Really?
Smile. It's not every day my eldest son graduates.
I couldn't have done it without you.
All without Auntie Jane's generous support.
Here is to Auntie Jane's well-appreciated World Remit money transfers.
World Remit Corporation is licensed as a money transmitter by the New York State Department of Financial Services, as a foreign transmittal agency by the Massachusetts Division of Banks, number FT 1179663, and licensed by the Georgia Department of Banking and Finance, NMLS 1179663, Massachusetts Foreign Transmittal License, FT 1179663.
World Remit, a better way to send money. Download the app or visit worldremit.com.
Well, welcome back to the show. This is the Ghana Agenda for July 2nd, 2022. We are discussing two very important topics. We're looking at the fact that Ghana is going back to the IMF and also the demonstration that we saw on the 28th by the Arise Pressure Group. My guest has been Daniel Nanayao Amposan, Paul Disosu, Dr. Ato Kwamina Danso, Lifetime Legacy, Fa Amayao, and Kojo DC. So, guys, welcome back to the second segment of the program. Let's start from where we started earlier, which is Kojo DC. Kojo DC, I think you had some question you were going to ask of Daniel before I interrupted you. Do you want to ask that question now?
No, it's okay. We'll resolve it ourselves. We know how to talk about it. It's between us, so we'll resolve it ourselves. But let me just say this before I move on to the demonstration.
Right.
So I've always put everything on the Fourth Republic. I don't go back beyond the Fourth Republic.
Yes.
Alfred, can I make a quick two intervention before we move on to the next topic?
Yeah, Kojo is saying something. Let him finish. Then you come in with your intervention.
You haven't finished speaking. God.
But this is what he was outside, so maybe where he is.
Kojo, do you want to concede to him because of where he is? Maybe let him go and then you come in.
No, let him go ahead. That's fine.
Okay.
No, I'm okay. Kojo should finish. I want him to make the propaganda, and then I will box him, and then Daniel all together at once. Let him finish.
All right. Let me just say this. You see, since the Fourth Republic, right? There has been this thing that this very two political parties, which is my party, which I've always belonged to, and the NDC, which Paul and Lifetime has always belonged to. That we make promises and then, quote unquote, say things that we think when we're in opposition we can do. But once we come into government, we do the opposite of it. And it's always been the same thing. We all brag and say, I'll change this, we'll reduce this, then do this. Ato said something, Dr. Ato said something, which was so profound. And this is what I'm trying to see.
Right.
All of us here, being professional or not being professional, and the people who are listening to us. So what is the way forward in terms of what has been going on? Dr. Ato said something. He said, during Kufuor's time, we went to IMF twice. President Mills came, we went to IMF. President Mahama came, we went to IMF. Nanado come, we are heading towards IMF. We are not there yet, but that's what we're heading to.
Right.
What is it that we it's like the opposition as of now knows all the solutions. When we were in opposition, we also knew all the solutions. But why is it that we don't have that political will when we come to power and forget about winning power by doing the right for the Ghanaian people? That's the question we all have to ask ourselves. It's like, why is it that we are not able to do that? What are the influences? What are the pressures that our minds are changed as soon as we have that political power? Instead of using it to the advantage of the Ghanaian people, we only think about sustaining power and making ourselves whatever.
Imagine how much you spend just to get power, right? You spend so much in your campaigns, you have to find a way to pay for that in one way or the other. Two, we have the single spine.
I don't want you to go into politics. We just want to be straight. I know the single spine will bring the single spine will bring a whole lot of things, and then we also will justify it.
Yeah, but what you don't, Amos, you don't single out one political party.
One political party. That's the thing.
I'm not singling out the political party. I'm saying that all the political parties, by the time
Alfred, let me answer my senior brother. It's because you have a weak constitution. The structure on which you are building this democracy, fundamentally, you have to tweak it a bit. Otherwise, you run into the structural issues all the time. It's why you need 275 MPs and you are comfortable living with that.
Exactly.
In a country like Ghana.
Yeah.
You are not thinking about these things and the long-term implications on your
Daniel.
And also answering my brother Kojo's question. You see, our economy is where it is because of our appetite for foreign goods.
Okay.
Perfect.
You see, let me give you something. Three
Okay,
ways.
you don't need to go into the details of that.
No.
No.
I
But
just want to
he
mention. I
said
just want to
again,
mention
he said
three things that going forward, my party and other political party, I think they should focus on.
Okay, quickly.
One, agriculture.
One village, one dam.
You see, Alfred, look at the magnitude of volume of
propaganda
of rice that are imported into Ghana. Whilst we have a land from Dawenya all the way to Aveime.
All right.
That is one aspect of it. The second issue that can resolve this problem is sugar. Look at the quantum of sugar we import into the country.
Don't bring the ghost from the past, because people don't.
That is why Commander Sugar Factory is important. And then the last one,
it's 90% completed.
The last one, our appetite for foreign tastes. You see, it is time a decisive action needs to be taken. Where when you go to ShopRite, more common tomatoes are being imported from South Africa to those malls. What prevented us? The government putting moratorium on all those things, that if you don't buy it from local folks, we will not allow you to operate.
Okay.
The money that we're using...
Lifetime is enough. Let's now...
Let me mention the last one. And then importation of oil, finished product. We have the oil refinery. Let's go back and get our oil refinery at work. That is the only way we can come up with
this. Guys, we got to move on to the next topic.
Let me move on to the next topic. So that was the thing. So for the demonstration, right, it is embedded in our constitution that we have the right to demonstrate. And the same constitution that gives you the right to demonstrate also gives what is the rule of law in terms of instruction as to how those demonstrations should be going on, right? On this very one, I was already anticipating there was going to be some violence because of the posturing and the nature of the people who were leading the demonstration. Some were even on radio stations. You know my job.
This what's the name? I'm just a black accent. This plan, no. This plan by my brother Ifa, DC, Daniel, to not let me talk. It's not fair. You say we're going to let me talk.
We haven't blocked you.
Yeah, could you hold it, right? I haven't even asked the right question. So hold that one. Okay, so Paul, interject quickly and then let's
see, Alfred. You see the hypocrisy of this, my brothers from MPP. Today, my brother Daniel is here telling us that he's a professional. Wonders, as he said, shall never end. Also, let me state over here. If your mother is dead and lie in the room and getting rotten, and you refuse to admit that he's dead and it's going to get rotten, it gets to a extent that when the stench of the rot is coming out, you have no control. This is what our brothers in the MPP found themselves. Look, Alfred, let's put it on record. This government is the most luckiest government ever in the Fourth Republic.
Right.
And for them to be putting us into economic mess is unacceptable. Let me put on record, as we speak, at the time of the NDC, we had only one oil field and we're doing 80 barrels of oil a day. Now we have 3 oil fields. We are making over 150 to 160,000 barrels of oil a day. The barrel of oil in that as capitalized in the budget was $40. As now on the world market, it's being sold almost $100.
You mean?
And this government, with all this, with all this money, this government still has crashed the economy into mess, and we have our brothers coming to sit here trying to justify it. Today, I'm surprised that my brother Ifa is very gentle. I'm surprised.
When you have the president flying private every...
Ghana is still a net importer of oil. Is that not correct?
Yeah, but I'm saying...
It is correct. And I'm saying, Daniel, my case over here, Daniel, you listen to me. My case over here is that this government has any justification to crash us back to IMF. Why? Because they are making they have made over 400 billion revenue since they took over. What have they used the money for?
Can I come in,
What is
please?
there to show?
Let me get my time.
What is there that they can boast and tell us that this is what they've used the money for? As we speak, out of the 25 billion COVID money that in their own budget, not I'm not saying it, Alfred is not saying it, and Legacy is not saying it, or the NDC is saying it. On the Ministry of Finance website, the total accumulated money that came is 25 billion. They've been able to account for only 12 billion. Where's the remaining 13 billion? These are the questions you should ask these people. And this is the reason why I said earlier on when I was making my submission that I am happy that we will know the true state of the economy after they've finalized the agreement to go an IMF. We will know the true state of the economy, and you will know, and we all come here, and you're going to call me Prophet Paul. Because whatever the paint they painted to us, that is not the case. It is more rotten than what we know. Thank you.
Right. Thank you so much. All right, so let's switch to the next topic, right?
Even if I have to fulfill my time,
when I give you your time, then let me ask the question, and you can answer it. So the question is,
are you giving me?
I'll give you, considering the number of people, I'll give you 4 each. But here's the main question.
5 is a good number. 5 is a good number.
Yeah, we need to stop at 4 o'clock.
Okay.
Here's the question. It seems our current president hates demonstrations. Since he came into power, every single time a group wants to demonstrate, they do everything to frustrate them. Police will show up to courts, ex parte, meaning that they go without the demonstrators, ask for injunctions, etc. Every single demonstration. There's not a single demonstration that I've seen where the government was really appreciative and relaxed and just monitor and guided the people through the demonstrations. It's like they're opposed to every single one of them. But this is the same government, or the leaders of the same party who were the most who indulged themselves most in the demonstrations of the past. What has changed? Why does the NPP or Akufo-Addo not like demonstrations?
Okay, it's 3:44, so I have 4 minutes. I'll just use 1 minute for this. As earlier said, this is some constitutional right that every Ghanaian has. But if you say that, I don't know if you have really studied the Fourth Republic in terms of how demonstrations are done and how, since we came into office, there has been several of demonstrations, with the exception of this very one, which is more or less like a routers demonstration. There hasn't been one time that there has been a violence. If you can tell me one since we came into office, it always has been a peaceful one, with the exception of this very one. Like I earlier was saying, people were on TV saying that we are going to go to a Akufo-Addo house in Mamobi and pump fufu over there, which is our leaders of the demonstrations. It's not like any ordinary people. Like I said, you know what I do. I wake up early, so I have the time to listen to all these radio stations.
I mean, we're not comparing. You're not trying to compare.
Okay, give me the 4 minutes. Give me the 4 minutes. Let me use it very wisely, because you take it from me, right? So yes, they have the right to demonstrate. I also think yes, they have also the right to demonstrate if they think there's economic hardship in the country. Nobody should prevent anybody of doing that. But whilst you're doing that, where your rights end is where somebody's right begins, right? So you should respect everybody. So if you are given instruction, the one thing you're doing when you're doing a demonstration, you should let your grievances known, right? So if you want your grievances to be known, the most important thing is to bring in whatever speech. It doesn't matter which route that you route to. And since the Fourth Republic, I'm coming. Since this is the Fourth Republic, and I always put all my emphasis on the Fourth Republic, I've never seen anybody in demonstration going through the ring road. Never. Because there are security installations around that road to go through. That's where the broadcasting is. Nobody. And even the veterans of demonstration, Uncle Kosiprat, Uncle Kokubakwa will always tell you that is always not the route to go. You start from Obrastor or Brasport and go through Adabraka all the way out there to whichever place you're going to. Whatever it is, they've already demonstrated, and whatever the outcome they are looking for, we are hoping it'll come. By the end of the day,
seriously sitting here telling us that the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation, which in the 80s was the only broadcasting corporation we have covering the whole nation, and therefore once you take it, you are definitely in charge of.
And it's still. Hold on.
Yeah,
I'm going to hold on. And it's still the only broadcasting corporation that is countrywide. No,
you remember the other stations, they give them limited mileage. You don't give them.
But still, you can't just take BBC now and for you've done a successful coup. I mean, it'll be ridiculous in 2022 to do so.
No, you're on a specific thing. Just don't waste my time. You took 1 minute from me.
Now, which is
no. How many people have the internet to be on Facebook every day? In Ghana, they open their data and
know that the coup is bullshit, and then we are no longer. Yeah, you don't need.
No.
I mean, it's an archaic thinking.
You took another 2 minutes.
Have an excuse.
You took 2 minutes from me, so let me just land in nicely. So because
I want to use
other 2 minutes.
You are landing in the next 1 minute. You didn't take any 2 minutes. You are landing in the next 1 minute, and I'm coming in.
Host.
You are landing in the next 1 minute, and I'm coming in.
Now, so we
I'm listening.
I like your pop. So they have the right to do that. Secondly, no security agency will allow you to drive through or make a demonstration through the president's residence. No way. No way, no how. It's not going to happen. So that's for it. Let me just say this. My brother Paul was saying something like, the NPP have been the luckiest government ever since our Fourth Republic. They said the same thing when President Kufuor was in power, when we went to HIPIC. When they came to power, we also said the same thing to them. Like, oh, yeah, they are luckiest. You borrow more than that. At the end of the day, they went to IMF. At the end of the day, we're heading towards IMF. And like my earlier question is, when are we going to stop this propaganda? At the end of the day, if we go to IMF now, and there are restrictions on employment and all of those things that it comes those conditions with, what are they going to get? In an unlikely event, if they come to power, what are they going to promise the Ghanaian people? What else solution do they have to bring to Ghanaian people?
I feel bad for the NDC coming back to power, though, because a lot of the loans are actually 2025.
So we'll continue and work because we started it, we'll finish it. So we get another 8 years and make it very well.
You intentionally negotiated it so that payments begin in 2025. You set up the NDC for big failure. So
you see that you are speaking like a professional. You are now looking at the data and looking at the actual. This is not professional.
And already, you know, most of the money they borrow to is not within the country.
No. So let me finish. Let me just finish. So, in the wisdom of the General Secretary of the NDC, General Esedun Kwetia, which is General Mosquito, you know what he said? He said we have to vote for Ken Ofori-Atta to continue the good business he has done. So the Ghanaian people will vote for us. So whatever conditions we go to, we will be the ones to be able to resolve it. The NDC should still be in the position so they can work very hard in the position and bring it out there. So we will listen and then resolve it. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. All right, Paul Disosu, you've been itching to go. So it's your turn. Is Paul there?
Yeah. Alfred, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
You see, my brother Kojo this year. He's my brother, so I'll be very, very nice to him this afternoon. Once again, the 4 minutes you gave to him is full of lies, misinformation, distortion of the facts, and rather trying to throw dust into the eyes of all of us again. Look, what are the facts as he spoke to them? Let me start from where he said, I think it just said, Ken Ofori-Atta is good, and it's nowhere on record, and I challenge him on this big platform to put the video on our chat, on our WhatsApp group. I want to see that video where Asen Ketia stated that Ken Ofori-Atta is the best finance minister and that he's doing a good job, so that they want to continue. I want him to prove that.
I'm not interrupting you, but I'm not interrupting. Did Asen Ketia told the parliament to vote for Ken Ofori-Atta?
No.
Asen Ketia asked the members of parliament to allow Ken Ofori-Atta to go because he is the most incompetent, the most visionless, the most shameless, the most directionless finance minister ever Ghana has had, because he's crashing the country. He's going to cry the country into mess. And that's exactly what has happened. Now I've resolved that issue. You also said that, oh, on the ring road, never in the history of the country that a demonstration has been held on the ring road. That is another lie. My brother, check your facts right before you come onto this platform. What are the facts? You see, this my brothers in MPP, they try to, create a situation to sue them when it's appropriate for them. But when it's not appropriate for them, it's it's not good. Ask my brother DC, where was he when Yvonne Nelson and those actors, the MPP actors, they staged a demonstration on a major highway, looking at comparing the Ring Road to the airport road, which one is the most security street that the security people should protect? They staged a demonstration on a major airport highway, and that was okay. There's nothing wrong with it, right? Let me also state on record that, you see, he's trying to say that, the people were violent. It's not true. There are videos, there are pictures all over social media whereby we saw the police people throwing stone, a person in a police armed vehicle throwing stone. Alfred, do you know what happened? These are the part of the issues. Let me state on record that this demonstration was one of the demonstrations that the police, Ghana police, was giving ample notice. Ample notice in the history of Ghana. Number two, this is the demonstration whereby the police and the leadership have sat down on several meetings to agree, to disagree, to agree. Number three, the last meeting they held, the agreement they reached was, this is the route they are going to use. The police never had any issue to it. Just for the police to 24 hours to the time, go to the court and ask the court to put injunction. That is bad faith. And I'm not a lawyer, and I'm not going to pretend as if I'm a lawyer. But I know for a fact that when you go to a court and you present a case to the court, and the court gives a ruling, and you put in an injunction, you put an injunction on the case, on that issue, and also far for how do you call it? The word that just escaped me.
Stay of execution.
Put in a stay of execution. That judgment does not even hold in the first place because you are far for stay of execution. Look, the police people caused the mess, and they are the people to be blamed for this rout that happened on Tuesday.
Right. Okay.
Why am I saying so? I'm saying so because if they had agreed, look, Mr. Muzu, what happened? On Wednesday, they went through in front of the plaster house. What happened? Nothing happened. So why were they stopping them on the Thursday to go to the route they've agreed with? You see, it is orders from above. And it's unfortunate that, and I, one of the person, and I've stayed on this show, and I think my brother Ifa will give me one foul, white foul. Because I am one person who has stated upon that I will never praise this IGP. Neither am I going to say anything about the special prosecutor. I'll give them enough time because I learned from my brother Ifa. At the time they appointed the former prosecutor, Ifa was on the radio with me making noise. I told Ifa that he will regret, and he regretted. So I'm not still going to go fast, but I started getting disappointed in this IGP because
please,
he could have done this thing. Oh, you want to take my time? You see,
put it in your closing comments. Okay, so Paul, are you down on that? I think we've taken enough time.
At the end of it, you do not allow some of us to share our view. But I am saying that my brother DC, all the submissions you make were distorted, lies, and they are not fact. That's what I'm saying. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Paul. Thank you so much. All right, so let's go to. I think everybody has done a round on this. Let's go to my professional on this one. Oh, okay. Let's take the professional, then we'll come to Ato next. So,
Alfred, he's not a professional. I beg you. Say the MP communicator. You should stop that thing. Please, you should stop that.
Senior comrade.
With all due respect, stop that. Yes, sir.
Senior Comrade Paul, I have extended a gold membership, so he will change.
So we don't want him. We don't want him, or we don't want none of them. Him on the tattoo. We don't want him in the party. We don't want them.
You know, we had
Alfred,
we
you're
had
not being
this
fair at all.
BOT.
You know that.
We had BOT. BOT.
Oh, guys,
Alfred. Now that he is in NDC, he's doing so well. So I know he also can do this.
I'm gonna cut you off. You're disturbing the program.
Alfred, I thought it's my turn, right?
Yeah, it's your turn. Go ahead.
I'm a member of the MPP, but I have my professional opinion to give on matters. If you think that is everything in the we all agree on the same thing in the MPP, is that what you think? Then that would not be a political party worth joining, right? Even in NDC, I don't think you all agree on the same direction. So I mean, we must understand those limits. There are some things in the MPP I disagree on, but if I'm to speak to the whole world politically, you think that I'll come out here and say those things? I'll have a place to address them. I really do. So, but Alfred, you see, honestly speaking, I think that this is not an MPP thing, but this is just listening to people who are not MPP folks. It appears when there's a demonstration in the era of Akufo-Addo, there's a little bit of apprehension. And you can see that in the reaction of the police when they compare that to Mahama. That is the opinion of people who are not MPP people, who are like independent people talking. I've heard somebody like, what is the name? That Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping, what is his name? Kwesi Enim alluded to something like that. You see, if you're a political party and you start hearing independent minds speaking like that, it doesn't matter how strongly you feel you are not influencing the police, but you've got to take a step back and start asking yourself what is going on here.
What's going on?
Yeah, and I think that, I mean, when I listen to people like that beyond them and I hear that kind of thing, I get worried.
Even not listening to them at all, you see it yourself, right? It seems all the demonstrations, this government tries hard to frustrate the demonstrators.
Yeah, and I get what I don't know what the apprehension is. Like it doesn't speak, it doesn't speak to the DNA of the MPP, right? And especially coming from an MPP. Even it was being spoken against the NDC, people can pardon them because of their history, right?
Yes.
And so, but it looks to be like a dichotomy, like it's reversed in a certain way. And I think for reputational purposes, every party has reputation to protect. We must not take these things lightly, because I mean it has what I call, very silent, implications for the way people see your party. And this me looking at it from outside. But what is the best judgment here? My best judgment is just outside people, because they don't necessarily align. I've heard questioning speak when the NDC was in power. So I know his views are not mindful of who party is in power. He says it as he wants to say.
Politically motivated,
Right. And I've heard him speak when he's in NDC, when MPP is in power. And he's not the only person that I've alluded to, these things. I've heard other, SOS kind of raise that concern. I think, at this point, we have to sit back and ask ourselves, what is going on here? That there are some people taking advantage to, try and score points and, create issues here. And then eventually, because of the system that we run, whatever goes up and comes down, it comes back to the executive presidency. Because the constitution gives power so much to the executive that he almost influences everything. That is why in Ghana, if anything happens, people are quick to call the president because of the structure that you have built for yourself in this democracy. Because power so much is concentrated in the executive that nothing passes by without some executive, influence or signaling to this institution. So I think that, I get concerned. This demonstrators issue is one of, the issue that I got concerned with. I'm like, just why do you engage them? If you want to demonstrate, just
leave them alone. Let them walk. Let the police make sure there's no chaos. That's it.
Nothing. What is it going to cause?
Let it happen. Matter of fact, they wanted to do 1 year anniversary for the Jura people. The police went to court and took an injunction on that. That the family can't even remember their loved ones who died in the process of a demonstration shot by police.
Yeah, I think there's an overreaction, and I think it's not good for the impression that it creates out there. You get what I'm trying to say? In this era of, where you have good data on your citizens, at least they have Ghana card, you have their fingerprint. Who is going to do something and run away? Like, the safeguard for you to be able to trace these people, even if they run away from the system, you have the security architecture. Unlike even in the past, when we didn't have these things and people can do stuff and leave your country and you can't even have a trace of them or bring them to some, record. I think as we evolve, we must allow people to, do these things and just let the police be there. There will be some 1 or 2 people that will, excuse me, the same misbehave, but I don't think they can cause a mayhem on the system.
But people say it's because you guys brought so many vigilantes into the police force.
Well,
so
I'm with you again. I can't speak to that, but the reality is that in Ghana, no political party comes and don't have their people recruited into the security. The people in Ghana, I don't know MPP, NDC, don't they vote one way or the other? So that conversation is not the right conversation. The right conversation, if you're a political party member, do you have the right competence to be in the security service? That should be the question. But regardless of what you do, definitely the people who get into the security service, they are Ghanaians, they'll be NDC, MPP, but the question is, are they the right competent people within this party that get in there? Do they have the right qualification? Do they have the right, skills? That for me should be the question, instead of just saying, oh, somebody's MPP, NDC. So what? Are they not Ghanaians? Who else should be in the security services? It's definitely going to be them. So I think the police have to take heed and listen to these other voices that are saying that, hey, it appears you guys are creating an environment that is stifling people and not allowing people to express themselves. People that get this sense of fear that you're going to come after us. It's not good. We don't need that. We need critical, mass or critical conversation in our system, especially in a system where the accountability is that is so low.
Right.
If we add that fear factor on top of that, almost we are dead.
Yeah, we are. Okay, cool.
So that's my point about this demonstration. They should allow them, but they should try and make sure that the organizers, they have their records, make sure they bring their Ghana card. Beyond Ghana card, if I have your biometrics, where else can you run in this world that we can't get you?
Today you've actually earned your professional title. I'm telling you. It looks, I don't know if Lifetime Legacy is sleeping or what is going on over there, but
I'm listening to everything.
So you are sleeping on the job, All right, Ato. Nope. Please take us home, Ato. Yeah, Nana is anti-demonstration, and it baffles me. Of all people, Nana should be the last person that is anti-demonstration. Why do you think he's like that?
You're right. It's an irony that you think that this lawyer who championed the rule of law, who has been so many demonstrations in the past, would actually encourage people to demonstrate, because they have the right to do that, right for association, and the right to converge. Right. But I think the problem is with the IGP. Like, they want to prove, or they want to, I don't know what he's trying to do.
But you heard the speech he gave before the demonstration. He was telling his people, instructing them that, he was just, unless he's just doing it for propaganda purposes. Because he was essentially telling them that do not harm anybody. Just be there, protect people. Let's behave in a way that even the citizens who praise us. Just to go and start throwing tear gas is like,
I know, but who gives?
I think, yeah. Can you hear me, Ato?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Give me these orders. I mean, it's ironical that with him, he's been in so many demonstrations in the past. The popular one, he was part of those who spearheaded that demonstration. So, Hamuzu, these days, like, you don't know what to expect from the president. It's like every day is something new, and you have to think about, hey, what is this guy going to do again? Sometimes I started to think that he's not even a lawyer, from the way he acts and the way he talks. Like, you
don't want to go there now.
I mean, sometimes that's what I think, because of the way the way I saw him to be, or the way I put him in a pedigree. Like, oh man, this is a lawyer who rule of law. He's gonna come and make sure that people are accountable to everything. He's like a lame duck. It's like he sits over there. He's not able to even make changes to anything in government. So I'm right to say that, hey, is this guy really a lawyer? But then I don't want to go to that NDC tangent where I say, oh, he wasn't a lawyer. He was trained in the UK. He didn't pass his board and stuff like that. But it's appalling that in Ghana, people are unable to express themselves through the demonstrations, and they have to incur all the wrath of the police. I mean, some of the pictures, I think, were very dramatic. And I agree with my brother, Dr. Kwabena Abedi, in saying that some of the pictures that we saw are Hollywood made pictures, because there's no way that someone's eye can be that big on the right side. It looks.
I don't think nobody would pick that. That's reality.
It looks funny. But on the most serious note, we
in Ghana where somebody's eyes almost popped out.
Yeah.
You know.
Yes. On the most serious note, we are a country of laws. That Nana championing the rule of law should be, as a president, should be able to act and tell the IGP to hold this act together. Otherwise, then we're in a banana republic where the police think they can do whatever they want in this.
Imagine opposition with the IGP behaving the same way this IGP is behaving now.
It's funny. Sometimes it's a joke. I have told you already that this IGP, I don't really admire what he does, because
right.
I feel like it's very selective. But then you will agree with me that some of these things have come to pass. Like he was like a 9-day wonder where he came through and then he did all this stuff, and now it's like he's quiet. He can't even say anything. It goes on and on and on and on and on. So I'm surprised that Nana Dankwa, the lawyer that we know as a president, has not proved that he was the lawyer that we thought he would be as a president.
Right. Thank you so much. All right. So lifetime legacy. Take it home for us, please.
Alfred.
Yeah.
Nanado became more popular in 1995 to date as a result of demonstration.
Right.
It's on record to be one of the biggest demonstration ever organized in the country. That is Kume Preko. And as the says go, they said a throat cutter always fears to lie down. Any person who kill people by the throat always fear to sleep, because they are afraid that if perchance they sleep and somebody had the opportunity, the person might also do away with their throat. I think that is what the situation Nanado has found himself. The IGP for me is a perfect gentleman who, when allowed to do the right thing, would do the right thing and would have changed the bad image of the police institution. But from the look of things, he is trying to listen to the politicians more than being professional. And for me, that is very, very disappointing. He's young, and I'll use this medium to advise him that if he wants to cut across all the political regime, being MPP, NDC, to continue to be in office, he should be able to say no to the politician when they call on him to do the wrong thing. From where I sit,
I thought you were going to recruit him to join the NDC.
But from ahead. Where I sit, I am of a strong opinion that the demonstration on the first day organized by the Arise Ghana, the violence was orchestrated, because if that demonstration had been allowed to go on, probably it would have been one of the biggest next to Kume Preko, and also would have made the number twice the number of demonstrators who appear on that day. The number would have doubled the following day. Right. So in order to stage fear in the people that your security is not guaranteed when you come to the demonstration, they have to orchestrate the violence that happened.
Okay.
And for me, it is not a good sign for somebody who for more than 30 years have been advocating or parading himself, portraying himself as a friend to a democracy, a friend to free speech, a friend to free of opinion, now in power, trying to let everybody come everybody into submission. It's not a good sign. It's a bad legacy Nanado will be remembered with. And for me, the earlier he changed from this attitude, the better for him. If some people in the Ashanti region decided that they are going to have a 1-year remembrance of their loved one, I don't see the need for the police to injunct the people from doing so. If you know the Muslim tradition very well. The 3 day after burial is very, very important to them. 40 days after burial is very, very important to them. 1 year after burial is very, very important to all of us, regardless of being a Muslim, a Gan or whatever. It is something that we all observed. In a where when the person happens to pass in a foreign land, they say that is where the soul of the person is brought home. It's in other tradition. It is. I think it's in Akan. I think it's also in a Gan tradition as well. So for them to be prevented with such a wonderful memorial, it's unfortunate.
Okay, thank you so much. All right, so I've had almost everybody except Afa. Afa, any take on this particular issue? I mean, why do we not allow people to demonstrate under the Human Rights Lawyers Administration? Okay, I think Afa maybe. Afa, are you with us? All right, we don't have Afa. Okay, guys, so let's do last words and bring the program to an end. Let me start with Kojo DT. Kojo, you there? Any last thoughts, conclusions, things that you want to say that you were unable to say before we get out of here?
Thank you, Amazon. I was a little bit disappointed because, my brother Paul said something like, I mean, he used the word lie. I think we should just lie, Paul. I think he used it. But I made a statement. I said he should give me one demonstration that was done through the ring road. And he was talking about airport. There's 2 different roads. Once I'm a liar, you should prove and tell me this demonstration was done through ring road. And that wasn't, but he was calling me a lawyer. I don't know, a liar. I don't know what necessitates that. But I also wanted you to ask those questions because anytime I put out something, you make sure you approve of it. But for him, he can just have a pass, which I don't think is there. You are the host. Whatever affiliation you have, that's fine, or you're thinking is fine. At the end of the day,
what are you accusing me of? What are you accusing me of?
I'm accusing you of being biased. I'm accusing you of being biased. God. On this very particular one. Yes, I just, whenever I say something, you're able to let me proof of it, right? So when he said, I'm a liar, people are listening. So when people are listening and somebody's calling somebody a liar, there should be a fact to that. And if you don't ask, which I cannot just interject, and it's whoever has listened by now has gone, and we even listen to my side
said,
of it.
What do you call it? You had said that you haven't seen any demonstration through the ring road. He came out to say,
and he said, I'm a liar. I'm a liar. But there was a demonstration in airport, not the ring road.
Okay, he's gonna have to respond to that.
So he said there was.
Paul, are you saying ring road, airports? What is going on?
Anyway, let me also correct this. It is. It is also not. It is also. Brother, senior comrade, please give me a minute. It is also infactual that no demonstration have been held on that stretch before. I remember there was one time we embarked on such exercise. Prior to 2016 election, where we were being alleged to have used that particular route and throw stone in the house of Akufo-Addo. I was part of that exercise.
Right.
Okay. What demonstration is that?
There was a demonstration that apparently people went to Akufo-Addo's house. Right? Remember that?
That was in 2016.
That was in 2016. Alfred, under this Akufo-Addo's government, there has been a demonstration that started from Circle to the Ring Road to the presidency.
What was I'm just trying to recall the demonstration. No, and
also, let's also put it on record that Occupy Flagstaff House. You see, also, even though they did not go through a Akufo-Addo residence, Flagstaff House was such a
residence.
No.
Flagstaff House was such also an security enclave.
There were selected people that went to the Flagstaff House. None, like I said, unless you give me a
the entire
specific.
demonstrated occupied the frontage of Fluster House.
Right.
No, there were selected people that were asked to go.
Even
I
under
just don't want to go.
Akufo-Addo, right? Even under Akufo-Addo, there was a demonstration that they actually went all the way to the Jubilee House and went in, and then one of the somebody came outside.
You have a memory. What's the name of that demonstration? What's the name of that demonstration?
I don't necessarily remember
so
that.
Please, so
but I agree that we can use different words rather than the word liar.
Calling you a liar,
that's something I'm not. We respect each other.
I apologize. I apologize if I call you a liar, but I'm saying that the things you are saying, they are not.
No, you see, when you say it's infactual, right? You have to give me the counterpart, like so-called.
But when you make the statement, you are that emphatic, right? You are that emphatic.
Hold on. Yeah. Yes, I was emphatic because I've given you all the demonstrations that I've gone through, and I'm saying this based on something, and those people I believe so much. Somebody like the comrade or senior Kwesi Pratt and Kweku Baako, nobody have done demonstration. When they started even demonstration, I wasn't even born. I mean,
but Kweku Baako, we know Kweku Baako has said so many untruths.
No, I'm talking about Kwesi Pratt. I'm talking about Kwesi Pratt. Kwesi Pratt too.
He also said untruths, you know. So I mean,
I believe them more than you. I believe them more than you when it comes to demonstrations.
But you've made an emphatic statement here, and the brothers are pulling your. They're pulling. They're telling you instances where there were demonstration through the exact same street that you emphatically claim.
And
because you heard it from Kweku Baako.
No.
So you see where you put your own self.
No, I'm not putting myself. I said, listen to me. I said in the Fourth Republic, give me one demonstration that went through the ring road. None of you have able.
Okay, one that I was involved. One that I was involved. Happy in 2016.
What was the name of it?
I mean, does it? Okay,
no, I forgot the name. But I was.
This demonstration has
no. But I was involved.
In 2016.
I was involved with this particular one. I was personally involved. That is where.
2016.
That is yes. That is where we're being told that we throw stone.
What was the demonstration for? You see specifics. That's what I'm trying to say.
But do you recall there was a situation where they said NDC people threw a stone to Nanado's house?
It wasn't a demonstration. It was what do you call it? Exercise. What do you call it? How do you call it when you're going for a run up or something? The name is not. It's just coming in. When people were running
half
walk. Yes, it wasn't a demonstration. See, I said since 1992, I have been involved in politics. I know everything that goes. I'm not bad. I might not be right all the time. But when it comes to certain things, I have that memory. My head is not big for any reason. I have those memories. So that's why I was saying this. That's the reason. So, I mean, we can call each other, oh, this is untrue. At the end of the day, don't be former president spokesperson. Alternative fact. There's no alternative fact. There's one fact. So if you have any fact against what I have, just bring it out and tell me I'm a liar. That is it. I just wanted to say on this program for today. And you, as Amuzu, you also have to interject. Whilst I say anything, whatever affiliation you have, I don't have a problem. You are a professional. You're the host. Make sure you put everybody into that hot fire, not one person.
Of course. Sometimes I'll let you guys duke it out, right, so that we can see.
Then let us do it.
I've never seen a host. I've never seen a host that is impartial when it comes to MPP and NDC politics. Every host is...
Daniel, is that what you're saying?
But we are saying good evening Ghana and Kokoroko.
No, see, I know where Daniel is coming from. He used to come to my show, right? And he's saying something that I don't understand.
Every host get accused one way or the other, no matter how impartial they are.
Even these guys have been trying really hard to stay away, you know.
Very soon, MPP will start accusing Randy Abe to be an NDC member.
Of course.
Randy Abe is NDC member.
Randy Abe has gone to the MPP all this while.
Randy Abe has been an NDC MPP member.
All right, guys, let's take the last one.
Let me secure this. You see, when President Kufuor was in power, Randy Abe, Alfred Ogbami, all of those guys were with Kufuor. And then when Mills even came they were against Mills, right? And then all of a sudden, when John came, because John was part of what? Coffee shop mafia.
No, that
So
should
they
tell
all
you.
switch.
That should tell if those
No,
people could,
I
if those people
understand.
could join NDC,
Guys,
then
we gotta
meaning
go.
there's some
We
people
gotta
they
go.
join.
Okay, so
I'm just saying it. Just for saying it. There's nothing wrong
Dan,
with that.
give us your last word. So let's get out so we can go.
Yeah, I think that Ghana we are making strides. See, in all the difficulties, at least you can point that government have made effort in bringing us to some point, right? So I would say we are in the very worst place. I mean, we've made some investment and that, but now the issue is how to crystallize all of this to start manifesting, and giving the dividend to our people. That challenge, if we are not very careful and we don't handle it properly, we risk the risk of losing everything. And I think that is why for me the IMF thing is very critical, so that we can secure the investment we've already made in our railway, in our automotive industry, one district, one factory, the ones that are potentially viable and are still alive. We can restore them. Thank you, Amuzu.
Thank you. I hear the baby. Beautiful.
Yeah, Amuzo.
Yes.
I'm on the road and I'm going on and off. Can I quickly make my submission?
Please, go ahead.
Yes. So I will withdraw the word I used as a liar against my brother, but I'm still standing by my facts, and I still stand by my submission that it is not true that any demonstration has not been made through the ring road. It's a fact that under this Akufo-Addo's government, one of the demonstrations, I just can't pick point to remember now. They went through Circle into the first staff house and they presented.
When you remember, just post it on our platform so we
can
all.
I remember. I think it is the one that was led by. I'm going to look for it and post it there. But the fact of the issue is that it was untrue. It is distorted of the fact. Lie is a strong word. I take it. I'm a gentleman. I respect him very much. I'm not trying to. I'm denigrate him as he is trying to claim it. He's my brother. But the fact is the fact. If you say something that's not true, I will come and then let you know that it's not true. It's unfortunate. But to say that, I appreciate this discussion today, and I understand where my brother Kojo this is coming from. It's difficult for people in government to defend government now. It's very difficult. I understand his point, and he's doing a good job. But unfortunately, the money that they are embezzling, he and Ifa are not getting some, and Daniel, and unfortunately, they will be here every weekend to defend this government. But anyway, I'll give it to them. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Paul. Okay, so I guess Lifetime, you're the last one to go, so that once you say yours, we should be. Or do we have I think Professor Doctor is gone. Dr. Two is gone. Okay, so Lifetime.
My submission is that NDC have been in power for so many years than any other political party.
Yep.
Anything that we say, it is to the interest of the country. It is out of experience. We have seen it all. So the MPP should listen when we say something. Yes, we are in the game of politics, but it is not everything that when we say we mean politics. It is because we want the country well. So they should humble themselves to the headmaster to use the cane to discipline them because they lack discipline.
Thank you. Thank you so much. All right, guys. That is our show for the day. We are grateful for your participation and joining. Oh, I have Dr. Atto now. Dr. Atto, would you mind giving us your last word so that we can bring it to an end?
Is that me?
Yes, please.
Oh, yes. So I was going to add to the what Kojo was saying, that I agree with Kojo that sometimes it can be very biased towards your friend Saul, because Saul tends to call people names all the time, and then you make him go scot-free. Right. So maybe next time you have to watch that. Other than that, you are very awesome. You're very frank with us, and you're upfront with us. But regards to your listeners and viewers, and I wish you the best. I hope next week we can hear good news, because it's been like bad news all the time. Like,
right.
Well, this year IMF, I don't know what's going to come this Friday. So let's pray for Ghana.
All right. So you said I have soft spot. I have soft spot for my brother Paul Isosu, huh?
Oh, yes. So he likes to use adjectives all the time. He gets so incensed. He gets so emotional about stuff. He's only politics in Ghana, so he has to just chill.
The bribe he gave me is about to run out. So we'll see. Once it's gone, I'll be tough for it. All right, guys. Thank you so much for today. And thanks to my panelists for making the time and, hanging out with me for these last 2 hours and discussing some of the big issues coming from Ghana. It has been great, interesting discussion. Please subscribe if you're watching us, Ghana Agenda on YouTube. Again, my name is Afrada Muzu, and this is the Ghana Agenda. We'll see you next week. In the meantime, have a wonderful rest of the week. And tell a friend about the Ghana Agenda. We will be back next week. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Just one more pic, JJ, please.
Oh, Mama. Really?
Smile. It's not every day my eldest son graduates.
I couldn't have done it without you.
All without Auntie Jane's generous support.
Here is to Auntie Jane's well-appreciated World Remit money transfers.
World Remit Corporation is licensed as a money transmitter by the New York State Department of Financial Services as a foreign transmittal agency by the Massachusetts Division of Banks, number FT 1179663, and licensed by the Georgia Department of Banking and Finance, NMLS 1179663, Massachusetts Foreign Transmittal License, FT 1179663.
World Remit, a better way to send money. Download